Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando, that's Corey, and today we are doing 1989's Cyborg. Before we get started, if you want to follow me or Corey on Twitter, you could follow me at Junior D's, you could follow Corey at Corey_Idol. And if you want to follow the show, you could follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Kiss the Reviews. So let's get into 1989's Cyborg. This film stars Jean-Claude Van Damme as Gibson Rickenbacker, Deborah Richter as Nady Simmons, and Vincent Klyn as Fender Tremolo. Fender Tremolo? Somebody was a guitar player who wrote the fucking movie. These names are ridiculous, and the fact that again, I know we bring this up almost every Van Damme movie. At least this was 89, so at least when we got into like the 90s, it was like he had more French type names. He was like from French Canada or whatever. That was always like his backstory. Like this one, it's just, and the wig that he wears this movie is goddamn ridiculous.
What you mean is Revolutionary War hero? This guy looked like he was fucking trying out for Les Mis. It was absurd.
I was half expecting him in those flashbacks. They're like, "Hello, I'm Gibson Rickenbacker." This is awful. And again, I know when we did Universal Soldier last, it was like, this is the worst movie. Every movie we do that Van Damme's in, it's like, no, this is the worst movie he did. These futuristic, like, oh, the world's gone to shit kind of movies, they're not difficult to do. They're really not. But somehow these guys managed to just screw the pooch on this one.
You were right.
I'm going to differ from you for once on the Van Dammage of it all and say that I actually liked this as far as he is concerned.
Okay.
Now, the caveat in that is I am a sucker for a dystopian story. I fucking love them.
Oh, I love them all.
And Armando's right. They're super easy to do because you get to remove guns, right? Bullets are always a shortage in the apocalypse world. So guns are out of the picture. Cell phones are out of the picture. Any kind of technology you get to remove that makes your plot devices a lot easier. Like driving a car to Atlanta or, sailing a ship that doesn't run on trash. Something like that.
Yeah.
But so I like the story idea. And if you're going to do a Van Damme movie, it could be way worse because most of the people in this movie don't have speaking lines. It's ominous tones.
It's
Let
ominous
us know
tones
what's happening. That's it.
and lots of grunting.
Yes.
There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, there's some serious warrior shit going on. And this is how I know I'm not a warrior, because any fight I've ever been in my life, I have never gone and shaken furiously before battle has begun. So apparently I've either never done real battle or I ain't just not that guy. I'm an athlete, not an athlete. Like that's just not who I am.
I'm not about that, like, grunting, yelling life. Like, that's not for me. Okay. So we'll start there. But what I'm also not about is the opening of this movie, which is like the voiceover. Like, first there was the collapse of civilization, blibbity blue, the anarchy, genocide, starvation, and then we got the plague. As soon as the voiceover started, I'm good. I'm done. I was out. I glazed over for the rest of this movie because I was like, this is what this is gonna be.
Why? I like the death.
I feel like there was an edit here too, because at the end of his little monologue, he's like, "I like this world." And the only, like, I feel like there was a line missing where it was like, there was genocide, and then apocalypse, and then I hoarded all the toilet paper when the plague started. I like this world. That's the only way you like the apocalypse, is if you stole all of the toilet paper during COVID. The only fucking way.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
Pun completely intended. You are having a shitty time during the apocalypse if you did not have toilet paper stuck to the gills.
Absolutely. You went to your local Publix or Kroger or wherever the hell you shop, not a stitch of toilet paper to be found. And I'll tell you this, judging by his voice in the opening narration here, he's also unvaxxed. So we'll just...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, dude, did you recognize the bad guy, right? He's a surf Nazi in Point Break. He's one of Anthony Kiedis' boys, which is awesome because now he has leadership of the gang, and Anthony Kiedis is just wielding around a pipe like he's a fucking baton twirler. You're not a real cheerleader, guy. Quit fucking around.
After this narration, we cut to a man and woman. They're in jumpsuits. They're running away from people that are apparently working the late shift at the local Chess King. And they capture the man, and the Chess King leader, Fender here, tells him that he wants the cure to the plague so he can be a god. And the woman runs away. Her name is Pearl, if anybody gives a shit. But yeah, so he wants the vaccine so he could be a god.
Yeah, I did not know she had a name. I call her Robot because she's a robot.
Well, this is like a dystopian Pinocchio story. So it was like she used to be a real girl, and then they turned her into her husband, her dad, whoever the guy at the beginning and the end is like, hey, we need the data, so we're going to turn you into a cyborg?
Yeah, okay. So we need to talk. I know we're skipping ahead here because this is middle of the road exposition on how Pearl the Cyborg became Pearl the Cyborg. She's a real person.
Yes.
A living person, not with any terminal disease that we know of whatsoever.
Yes.
She's perfectly healthy. And they're like, you have to have this procedure because we need the cure for this disease, but you'll never be the same again. And she's like, okay. And what it turns out they do is rip off her fucking face and attach it to a metal skeleton. You undersold this so much. It is unbelievable what you did to this person. You'll never be the same again. That's like, I'm never going to have a period because I got a fucking thing put in my arm, right?
Yeah. You got
like,
the jab.
I'm cured of periods. No more. That's being changed forever and never being the same again.
Listen, never being the same again. They killed her. This is like Face Off 2. Like, they killed her, they ripped her face off and put it on Bleep Blorp, the robot. And like, now she's just a robot, but she still has the same name. It's like, hey, Pearl. And she's like, cool. And she has memories and shit. It was like when she takes off her wig, skull cap, whatever the hell it is. And it's just like all the computer giblets or whatever the fuck are up here.
Mm-hmm.
There's no brain. How do you have memories?
Yeah, she doesn't. She doesn't. She's a robot. She barely knows how to walk. She's clearly a prototype. This bitch trips and falls for a robot.
Yes.
More than anything I've seen so far on TikTok. Like the lab robots on TikTok.
Yes.
Respond way better right now than these future cyborgs do. Like,
yes,
they were
100%.
able to put a face on a robot and just stopped. They're like, we did it. Congratulations.
But she apparently has all the data for this cure, and she runs away, right? And she gets cornered, and Van Damme shows up out of nowhere, and he does some karate moves, some kia, and he helps her out. And then she's like, cool, thanks for the karate kicks, guy. Can you help me get back to Atlanta? Because she needs to get the information stored in her CPU to the lab coats down in Atlanta for this cure.
And Van Damme here says,
I thought it was somebody else.
and then he just kind of turns to leave, right?
Yeah.
The person he thought this was the woman who fucking got tossed into a well with him and then he buried.
Yes.
Why not? You reminded me of somebody. I thought you were this zombie person that I was in love with, and that's why I came to rescue you. This dude is fucking gone.
So Fender here shows up, or Les Paul, or whatever his name is. He shows up, and one of his guys like shoots at JCVD with some back alley blow dart gun, and JCVD gets trapped in an alley, and then the Chess Kings capture Pearl. And they take Pearl back to their ship because apparently they're pirates. And so JCVD here like follows Fender and his crew back to the ship. And then he meets Nady after they take off and after knocking her unconscious because like she attacks him because she thought she would mistaken identities and things. I have a question here. So they have a ship, right? They're leaving New York. Correct? This opens in New York.
Yes, but they don't have a ship. That's why they burned down the village, was to steal the ship. They're just calling themselves pirates.
Well,
seriously,
okay. So
that's why they burned down the village. They say like they had to burn down the village to steal a ship. Like, why would somebody do this just for a ship?
Yeah, but
I don't know. Because why do they call themselves pirates? They're not.
But they now they're in possession of a ship.
Yes.
Because they need to get from New York to Atlanta, correct?
Yes.
The water goes all the way down to Georgia, does it not?
Yes.
Why are they why are they stopping in like wherever they stop in like South Carolina?
Charleston, yeah.
Are they stopping for like boat fuel or like I don't understand the stop.
Have you ever had South Carolina barbecue sauce? that mustard sauce is different because let me tell you,
Fender was like
different.
Fender was like, "Arg! I heard they had toilet paper in Charleston. We're gonna stop in Charleston to wipe my arse.
I need a rack of ribs in the mustard sauce,
dude,
and some toilet paper for the afterflow.
If you can find mustard sauce that's done right, that shit's fire. I'd stop in South Carolina too.
Hell yeah!
But so it's flashback time, and just an FYI, like it's always flashback time in this movie. Like exposition via flashback,
they're all over the place,
back and forth. It's apparently a family hired JCVD to get them out of New York, and then he gets them to a house in the country, and he just decides like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and live with them. And then Fender shows up and does some bad things to the family, and now JCVD's on this like quest to kill Fender. So,
and I don't really get like. So we haven't gotten to the crucifix part of it yet, but this is all weirdly like biblical.
Yeah, there's JCVD is. Yeah, he's like, Jesus.
Except for he's better because he didn't die on the cross. He karate kicked it down. So take that, JC.
Damn.
You might be able to fucking turn water into wine, but you can't karate kick a cross down, bitch.
Listen, JC should have had some fucking cowboy boots on because he could have just chopped the shit out of the bottom of that cross. That's all I'm saying. That's all JCVD showed me in this movie. Jesus needed some cowboy boots, and things would have been much better.
That's it. That's it. Fucking hippie. Take off your sandals, hippie, and wear some boots like a man, and you don't get crucified and die.
we get to hear Nady waking up. She offers to help JCVD rescue Pearl, but all he cares about is getting Fender, and they take off together and they head for Atlanta. And they stop in a town where JCVD gets some info from his friend Maze, and he tells JCVD where he can catch up to Fender's boat. And we also find out here that JCVD stayed with this family that he had rescued until Fender came around. And this is where we get the weird flashbacks where it's like JCVD, it's like this farmer's daughter. Why she was in New York, who knows? But she was, she's just like, y'all take care of my kids real nice, like, and then like her and Revolutionary War JCVD like fall in love, and they're like having sex, and Fender and his crew, they're all just at the window, like, you see this? This is dope. Like, and
a pirate's life for me. They're just fucking.
Apparently
wandering around the backwoods of fucking upstate New York, and just happened to find the one house and a couple banging out, and they're like, "Arr, it's a show, babies."
Well, apparently in this, post-apocalyptic dystopian future world, there's no more Playboys. Pornhub doesn't exist because there's no internet. So what do? You just got to peer in on people fucking, and that's your porn. It's live. It's live shows now.
The first shot of this scene was just them at the windowsill, just doing this vigorously. And then the rating system was like, guys, honestly, like, we got to put an NC-17. They're just jitting all over a windowsill. But we can't have this. Realistic or not, we can't have it.
You were correct.
It's not wintertime. There's not supposed to be frost on the windows.
No, we learned our lesson from the Brown Bunny. We're not doing this again.
So they finally catch up here on the shore, and they find Fender's boat, right? So they get the binoculars, they're looking, Fender's boat, cool. And then they follow him to an abandoned building where JCVD has to fight through all of Fender's crew because he doesn't know how to track and follow anyone properly. Like, you saw the boat before they docked, right? You got the binoculars, you're doing the thing, and you're like, hey, lady who doesn't matter to the plot, there's the boat, and they're about to dock. So you wait, they dock, and then you follow them the next day. Why are we going to sleep? You wait for them to dock, you follow them, and then you get to the thing and sneakily get to Pearl and do what you got to do, right? And kill Fender or whatever. Movie's over. But he's just like traipsing through the field, no cover, no nothing. There's no ghillie suit involved, nothing. And they're like, hey, who's that guy? And it looks like they're coming over here. Let's ambush them.
Yeah, there's a guy and a girl walking down the trail. That was easy to see. Thank you.
What the hell?
This was the dumbest shit I've ever seen. And speaking of person who doesn't matter to the plot, at some point, right, typically the sidekick that our hero reluctantly takes on as the sidekick actually does something of value.
Dude, this bitch,
she can't fight, she can't run, she can't properly seduce JCVD. Like, there is nothing she does here at all.
No, she does one thing properly. She gets knocked the fuck out in every scene. She's unconscious. And after every fight, she's like, hiya. She like hits one person, and then she just gets a blow to the head, and she's out for the next 3 scenes. And then she wakes up, they're running, and then another fight. And she has CTE by the end of this film. She deserved to die at the end of this movie.
Oh, yeah. And the weight of her death meant it meant nothing.
No, they stare at her for about 4 seconds, and they're like, okay, so now we move on. And there's the lab over there. So,
she was too young to be the new mom for the stepdaughter he finds again, but she's also too old to be a new sister for you. It's just,
Yes.
you have to go because I can only travel with one white woman at a time. That's all I can do.
Here's the funny thing, though, right? So they're on this boat, which isn't a big boat, right? And you see all the people on the boat and blah, blah, blah. When they get here, he fights through everyone. And there's a ton of people. And then he kills a bunch. And then at the end, the Chess King crew comes out with Fender as their leader. And they're just pouring out of place. It's like a goddamn clown car. How many of these people were on this fucking boat? Or did they just pick up randos along the way like, you're part of the Chess King crew, as they kind of went into Charleston?
No, I think I think that boat probably looked like a fucking subway car in Manhattan during rush hour. Just
Definitely.
bad. Some guys just randomly rapping about biscuits or something.
There's urine all over the floor.
Oh, yeah. Some lady's trying to sell you fucking raw chicken feet. Like, it's a mess. That boat was a disaster.
Yeah, but so after this, JCVD escapes here with a knocked out Nady. And Pearl here calls JCVD a bitch who can't help her. And then the Chess Kings catch up to them. And after being awake for 3 minutes, Nady's knocked out again. JCVD is beaten brutally by Fender and nailed to the mast of this like abandoned boat. We obviously get the look, it's Jesus. We get the Jesus Christ Van Damme shot here.
It's Jesus. Look, it's Jesus.
This was the funniest part for me, and I know we already brought it up, but this is now, and I took a count when I was watching this. This is the third time Nady's been knocked out in this movie.
Yeah, and this time she's knocked out in a pool of water. But for some reason, she's miraculously not drowning. She wakes up, and after JCVD karate kicks himself off of the boat mast, and he's now just laying down on this cross. He's still got arrows through his wrists. She appears silhouetted by the sun on a sand dune with a knife, and then has the balls to say, "Aren't you glad you brought me now?"
No! I got myself down.
Yeah, you know how easy it would have been for me to escape if I wasn't carrying an extra 110 pounds? You dickhead!
Well, Quit
getting knocked out. Learn to fight before you go on adventures. That should just be a rule.
Hell yes.
They break out, right? Nady frees them, apparently, and then they go off chasing for Fender again. Fender and Pearl get to Atlanta at night. And JCVD and Nady get ready for their ambush. And this is like the final push, right?
Right. And we also see when they hit Atlanta, Pearl and Fender are having a discussion. And he's like, you can't win. I know you're going to try and kill me. And she's like, no, you're much too powerful. And then he throws this weird, like, alpha male insecurity temper tantrum because she's like, don't talk down to me. And he just storms off.
Don't look down on me.
I'm not stupid. You're stupid. Arr.
Yeah, it's like, bro, are you going to go cry in the corner? Because you're the leader of a gang. You need to step it up. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like you have mommy issues. She's like, no, son. You're strong. And he's like, fuck you, mom. He goes out and like kicks a fucking dog or something. Like, what are you doing, bro? Calm down.
Well, and when they finally get there, right? JCVD has like the arrow and he shoots the arrow and it falls at the feet of Fender. Like he's a bad shot. So I don't know if this was like meant to happen. Like if that was part of the plan, because like it's a distraction so that Nady can come up behind and take Pearl. And she actually like fights two people for serious this time. And then,
which again, this would have been a good part in the plot where it's like, I'll sneak behind them and get Pearl. I used to be a thief. I'm super quiet. I mean, it goes against literally everything her character has done up until this point, like shouting in the woods while they're walking down a trail. But it would have at least added something. But she even fucks this up because she fights two people. Yep. Sort of. And she trips and falls over Pearl, who gets trips and falls through a door. And Pearl, the robot, is somehow knocked unconscious for the rest of the fucking movie.
This is such a crock of shit.
Until Nady dies. But
until she dies.
Yeah.
Mercifully.
But we get here like the final fight between JCVD and the Stratocaster. And so halfway through this fight, Haley, one of Fender's crew, she yells at him to stop, and he goes after her. And this is why, JCVD broke down the cross, because he was so angered that the little girl at the farm, Haley, is that like apparently Fender took her and now he's part of his crew. Cool, whatever. So she's like, no, I remember JCVD and he was so awesome and he did like fucking karate moves and shit. So you need to stop beating him up. He goes after her. Nady tries to stop Fender from killing Haley, but she's killed in the process. JCVD stabs Fender, kicks him onto a huge hook, which kills him there. And then they get to this Atlanta facility, right? And Pearl asks JCVD and Haley to stay with them, in the safe facility where they're, developing this cure for the plague. But no, JCVD has got to be like the Hulk, and he's got to go on his world tour and help people. Like that's what he wants to do. Yep. So him and Haley walk away, and this is my favorite part because before the doors close, movie ends. The last thing that Pearl says to, I don't know, her dad, her stepdad, her husband, whoever this dude is in Atlanta is...
It's strange, but I feel he's the real cure for this world.
And I was like, so JCVD is Jesus.
Yes.
Is that the point of this movie?
And everyone was saved. Fuck off. It's so stupid. Yes, this somehow, some way is really about Jesus. Walking through the desert? I don't know what this is. Karate Jesus walking through the desert to save humanity.
Karate Jesus is my favorite. He's my favorite Jesus. You have baby Jesus. You have like on the cross Jesus, and then you have karate Jesus in the middle. So karate Jesus is by far my favorite Jesus.
Karate Jesus don't play this shit. This is just, come on. It's so ridiculous. And by the way, the guy, the creator behind her should have been like, no, it's in your head. That's why you are here.
Yes.
The whole point of this was not for JCVD to regain his humanity as Karate Jesus. The point of this was for Pearl the Robot to get shipped back to Atlanta to literally save everyone. Not figuratively, not metaphorically, literally.
By the way, I know this movie was in '89, and we'll cut here to a few minutes at the end where we call this movie trash, or at least I will. This was in '89. Like floppy disks existed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you need to make your daughter, wife, person a cyborg so she could keep the data in her eyeball? Because she could have just gone floop and put the disc in and beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, and then you have a disc. And you could make 15 copies if you wanted to.
How about this? Just make a contact lens. Let me be a person and keep my fucking body. All I have is my face skin. And at the end of the day, who gives a shit?
I was just trying to make it simple. Like 89. The compact Presario was the thing. You could just have one of those 3.5-inch floppies. There you go. Like, I know they didn't have like thumb drives and shit, but they still had floppy disks where you could save data. You literally created a cyborg so that you can download data.
You were correct.
Listen, just an FYI for those of you who are in 2024 creating movies for this dystopian future. I'm just going to do one thing real quick. This is what we call an external hard drive. Okay. See how big this is? They continually get smaller and smaller with every iteration and every update. They don't get bigger and bigger. You don't go from a 3.5-inch floppy to a goddamn full-size robot. That's not how technology works. It's literally smaller every single time.
In fairness to them, this is very American. Is to be like, we got to get this data from New York to Atlanta somehow. What are we going to do? I know what we'll do. We'll build a robot and we'll talk this woman into just giving up everything but her face. The easiest thing we can do. It's exactly the same thing we did when we were building the railroads. We're like, we ran into a mountain. What are we going to do? I don't know. Here's a bunch of Chinese immigrants and all the TNT we can pack together. Blow it all up. They don't care. They just massive. It's just the biggest fucking thing possible. Let's just do it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
So dude, this is. Look, is the movie trash? Yes, it's terrible. Yada yada. Is it good for a JCVD movie? Kinda, because there's not a lot of dialogue. There just isn't. You got the dialogue you got to deal with. The most is Fender talking like this. And
by the way, that was awful and annoying.
Oh yeah, like we get it, dude. Like, look at you. We get you're the tough guy.
Yeah.
Take the voice down, Brock Lesnar. You win. But with that, the dialogue in this movie is really just done by the fucking useless Nance, the dead lover of JCVD, and Pearl the robot.
Yeah. No, that's it. And just another thing for all, again, dystopian creators of the future. Can we stop dressing everybody like they just went shopping at Hot Topic? Like that's not what people are gonna look like. They're just gonna be poor in ratty clothes and jeans and t-shirts and shit. It's, they're gonna be running around with like a Def Leppard shirt and like tattered jeans. That's what they're gonna look like.
I don't know, man. Art imitates life and life imitates art. I think so many people have seen so many dystopian movies at this point. When shit breaks down, they're not going for bread or toilet paper. They're going for chainmail and leather.
Dude, they are going to attack. I know nobody's been at a mall in years, but everybody is going to descend upon Wilson Suede and Leather looking for their fucking duster, because they're like, well, I'm going to be a bad guy. The world's falling apart. Where the fuck is my leather duster?
Yeah, I need duster. I need chaps. I need boots. Possibly a hat. I don't know. Is it a sun-related incident?
Exactly.
But yeah, dude, Wilson's Leather is absolutely gonna just be banking money.
Yes, it'll be the first time they've actually had visitors in their store in 20 years.
A leather shop in Arizona.
Leather shop in Arizona? Are you serious? There are far too many leather shops in Arizona as it is. You would be out of business in a week's time.
But that's all I got, man. You got anything else for this one?
No.
Right.
I want to go away from this place.
Same. Well, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1989's Cyborg.